Hello, good morning slash afternoon to everybody. I just wanted to create a video here. Some of you are used to seeing my garden videos every so often just to kind of, well, not show off, but just to show my handiwork and one of my other passions besides doing the artistic stuff and drumming and teaching and all that stuff that goes into that discipline. But I did have a certain sub who wanted me to go through the yard in particular because he's a younger kiddo in his teens, I believe, maybe around 12 or 13, and he has a passion for botany and then also irrigation. So he asked a specific request if I would create a video for him going over my irrigation system. So, and because I like to try to be the best person that I can, and honor different requests and try to make my subs happy, and maybe go out into left field a little bit that doesn't have a whole lot to do with my channel, but still make subs happy and gives them joy. And that's one of my main purposes to everything I do, besides just getting better at my craft. But so with that said, I'll go through now and quickly just explain what I've got going here. This is the Tropicana. You can see how tall these orchid-like flowers get, and a lot of you are used to seeing this back. And just within a few months, it literally went from sticks that were this big after trimming it all back to now this tall, and with orchid flowers that are about, I don't know, 12 feet tall. So I have that. I've got some other shade plants in the back just because they were getting sunburned. I've got begonia tree, some palms, and then these are albutilon that are all along the back corner. So albutilon are these ones that are kind of like the vines. They go through in between all of my bamboo, and these are clumping bamboo, so they're not just standard bamboo where it's like one shoot at a time. You can see they grow out of one giant clump, and then what that allows for too is that they get significantly taller. And like, look how far I can pan up before I mean, I'm like staring at this almost vertically into the sky just to get how tall these get. And then they start to branch over, which also covers kind of more of a shade, in addition to keeping all of these pine trees out of my yard. Because if you see here over the wall, the entire thing is all palm trees. And yeah, I live on a street too, but I have this sound wall here which helps quite a bit. But these palm trees, they're spread out through the whole bank here, and they just drop endless dead pine needles into my yard. So not only was it a aesthetic thing, but also to keep my yard a little bit cleaner and not have to constantly clean up pine needles. So this is a crown of thorns, and crown of thorns, there's some different history and reasons of why it's named that, but the most common one is that this is what was used to create the crown of thorns for Jesus. And if you can imagine these, I mean, look, I can't even wrap my whole hand around it. That's how thick they are. And yeah, way more heinous than having a crown of thorns made out of rose thorns. So I mean, and these things are spike hard, like very rigid and razor sharp at the end. So, but crown of thorns also called that just because they have a crown that comes off of the top of the thorns, and that's where all of the flowering, and they have really pretty flowers. They turn from different colors, pink and whitish looking, more like this as they mature and that kind of stuff. But what I will say is this is a breeding ground for black widows. They love, you know, any animals that have a natural protection, like in cactus trees or something with spikes. They build their nests in there a lot of the times because it's much harder for any predators to get into them. Then we've got our canna lilies, which that's what that plant over there is too, with some asparagus ferns in the back. But just when these come out, I mean, they are absolutely stunning. And this is on their like second or third one after trimming a bunch down. You can see I had to cut quite a few of these off, so it's a little more sparse, even though the leaves are healthier. So some rose bushes. Then we have bells of fire, peach tree. Peach tree, man, I must have gotten, I don't know, 200 and something peaches off of this tree this year. Enough to make multiple cobblers, multiple pies, jams, all sorts of stuff. Then I have my apple tree right here. I don't know if you can see that apple up there. Oh, here's a closer one. So apple here. But these are golden delicious apples. So got the peach and apples. That's what I use mostly for my fruit. And I'll get over to this tree over here is a hybrid citrus tree that has two types of lemons and oranges on it, all on the same tree. So that's another one of my fruit trees, in addition to my hanging strawberries over here, which produce a lot of strawberries as well. So got that. And then I've got the assortment. I've got 3 different types of tomato varieties in this one pot. Heirlooms, Better Boys, and I think some type of cherry. Then I've got this one, which died back just because of how hot it got. So you can see it still has a little, but what I did was I trimmed it up, and literally, well, actually, it was a mistake, and someone else in my family trimmed it up. And we all thought it was going to die because she cut off all the leaders on it. And if you cut the leaders off of a tree, it will kill it. So especially if it's in the middle of a bloom and you chop off all of its leading growth of the top, it'll kill it off until it regenerates enough to then, once you cut something, so say it has, you know, 2 like that, you cut the leaders off, you're left with just the one stem, then what'll happen is that one stem will then branch into 2 stems over time. So it's actually used for creating more of a bush effect rather than a tall effect for certain plants. You know, so this is going to be a great plant as soon as it comes back. And it's already got some little tomatoes starting to grow on it, and you can see the yellow flowers coming back. So, I mean, this thing recovered quick. I need to trim this one up and work on it a little bit, but that's also what happens when you put 3 different varieties in one pot. Herb garden, everything from sage to thyme to oregano to mint to peppers to what did I say? Sage, oregano, quite a few other things, and then I have more on the other side. Now, this was my lettuce trough, which was full of lettuce that was like this tall. I mean, so tall, with full heads of lettuce, and we ate it all. But what a lot of people don't know is if you cut the stem down to this point, now this one obviously died off, but you can see here how I cut these, they will actually start to regrow again. So these are all ones that have been cut. I already cut them. You can see how they start to flower a little bit more, and they're not as, you know, hefty with the lettuce growth, but they'll come back. They'll come back, and I couldn't find any more lettuce because of the heat wave, and they're not even selling them anymore. So, then got some spider plants, bird of paradise over there. Well, let me quickly show you that too, because what I'm going to get into now is the irrigation, so I can get this going for the sub. But I've got my basil, I've got some eggplant, more sage, oregano, rosemary, thyme, a little bit of lettuce in that. Then I've got some huge basil, and then this is the tree I was telling you about. That is the hybrid citrus tree. So you can see here, I mean, just look how many lemons and oranges and stuff I have all over it. So what they do is they graft on with this one part here, and you can see how they took a common graft like this main trunk, and then they graft on one side, which is like this side here is oranges. The side in the middle, this one, is also oranges, and then the one that goes off to the side, those are lemons. So I have Meyer lemons, I have Valencia oranges, and then I also have honey mandarin oranges. And honey mandarin oranges, those are the ones that they serve you like in Asian restaurants as your, dessert with whipped cream on top and those really sweet oranges. So they are delicious oranges. And this is a new tree too. This is only about 2 years old. So on its second year, I mean, it is producing like gangbusters, just all over it. And if people are wondering what these are moth traps, because citrus trees have what are called miner insects, like leaf miners. They mine like a coal mine, but they mine into. Oh, here's a good example. So you can see how. Let me get this one out of the way. How where my thumb is at, it's got this kind of like brownish looking thing. Those are actually worms inside of the leaf that eat part of the leaf. So to keep those away, because there's really nothing you can do to keep them away except for keeping these traps here. And then what it does is it attracts them with the scent pheromone. And then you can see there we got the moths trapped in the glue there. So that's really the only way you can go without, putting pesticides and all that and stuff. And anything that I eat, I am never going to put pesticides and chemicals in just to save the tree, so that when I eat it, then I'm absorbing all of the toxins that are in all of those pesticides. So what I'm going to do here, buddy, and I'm talking to the sub, is that I'm going to show you, I got some stations back here that I can turn on one at a time, in addition to a computerized system. Yes, I have a whole nother side over here that has some begonias, hanging plants, and another bird of paradise. And that's so that you can see out of this window when you come in, or you're looking from, let's see if you can see, there we go, inside the house, that way you can see, and there's my piano there, but you can see out the window to this wall here, rather than just looking at like a white wall. Then that way you're looking at all the plants out of it. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and flip this switch. Then I'm going to go out to the bamboo, and I'm going to show you how that, it's basically a drip system, but it works with fountain heads rather than a drip head. So I'll go ahead and turn that on for you. Simple as that. Then now I know, which station controls what. So I'll take you back here, my friend. Then once I get that going, whoa, we got a head that fell off this one. You can see it's shooting straight out. But that's an easy fix. So what it is just, the head fell off of this. But what it is, it normally does that. And then we'll water each individual albutilon at that point. And then you'll see with the bamboo that I have these type of heads. So because the bamboo takes an obscene amount of water, so they really need to get quite flooded pretty often. And then here's a good example of what the other heads actually do. It's like a mini fountain, more of a drip system rather than coming out like a fountain. So I have that throughout the entire back wall for every group. I've got that back there. More albutilon, albutilon, albutilon. So you get the point with that. But that's my station 4. And yeah, I need to work on this a little bit just to get them back into their housings. And see, the pressure is the thing, because the pressure will build up so much sometimes that it just blows the heads off of them. And that kind of thing. But you can see here, and because I have a wall here in the back, that the water goes down, but the wall goes down really deep, so it keeps all the water on this side of the wall, no matter how deep it gets. Okay? So, and then all the way back to this corner to what I was showing you just a minute ago. Okay? So, I'm going to go shut those off. And, actually, I'm going to pause the video really quick, too. Just because otherwise this is going to turn into like a 40-minute long video. So I'm going to hit pause in between my sections, turn on the different section, and then hit record again, and then that way it should cut down on the video time. Okay? Be right back, my friend. Okay, now we're on to the next. Now we got station 3. And you can see here, this operates the lawn. So, this side doesn't get a whole lot of watering. I mean, it does, but there are some blind spots in it. You can see how the grass has kind of died from there, but no one really sees it. No one comes back here very often. So, it's not so much of a huge deal. But you can see how much of coverage it takes, and yes, I'm walking straight through all the sprinklers. I really don't care, but I wanted to try to just show you the... Sorry, my air conditioner's on and I can't turn that off today. But you can see how much it covers within different sections. So it's basically this whole side of the yard. Then when I turn the next station on, it covers this whole side of the yard. Okay? So I'm going to go back, turn that off, hit pause again, and I'll leave it up to your imagination, my friend, as what the next zone covers, because you understand what I'm talking about. And for me to turn this one off, turn the next one off, just to walk over there and show it to you and then turn it right back off again, is... You know, you already get the point, my friend. So that's the 3 stations here for all the back, and that's just the back. Okay, so now I am going to hit pause because I'm going to go out to my computer control, and I'm going to hit start on that, and then I'm just going to let all of those run in succession and show you how those work. Okay, hitting pause again. And while I'm walking from the garage, after hitting the control, oh, I should have shown you the control though, just because I'm sure you're interested in it, just because of how much passion you have for your different systems. And like you said, they are like puzzles, you know, and none of them are ever the same. So, but yeah, I'm just working with it, you know, standard, usually going on auto. And what I'll do is I just hit the enter button even when it's not on schedule. If it's a really hot day and I'm seeing that my plants are dying, then I just go here and hit the manual. And then here's, I don't know if you've seen my full studio too there, my friend, but I teach lessons out of here, so that's why I have, you know, I know it's a bit crowded, but what it is it's multi-purpose. It's, you know, that's why I have the couch in here too for parents, and we frequently have multiple people playing at the same time, And I do group lessons where I have 2 students sitting on each of these kits at the same time that I'm playing on this kit. So I got one comment from a friend, and I know he was just ribbing me, but he's like, man, move all your toys, give some room to the other people playing in the room. And I'm like, well, yeah, but you have to remember, I teach out of my house every single day, well, except for maybe 1 or 2 days a week, but I mean, I work 7 days a week, including Sundays, and I'm frequently having many different people come in here, not just to jam, but to do paid lessons. And so that's why my setup is like this. And thankfully, I was able to just get this, which is an 800 watt Carvin RL410. This is actually an amp I used to have back in the day, because I play some bass too, my friend. But one of my guitarists back from when I was in my younger days, I loaned it to him, and he never gave it back. And I tried for like a year straight to get a hold of him. I even ran into his dad at a gas station randomly one time, and I said, you know, I've been trying to get a hold of your son, and it's been a year now, and he's just avoiding every single time I text or call him trying to get my amp and head back from him. So the universe has a funny way of working out. Oh, well, okay, here you go. Here's one for free. So it might have taken me 10 years to get another one, but I got one. And then got a compressor. And then another cool thing is I just got this rack. So the rack, then now I can organize my setup here a little bit easier. But then also, that's another thing, is that I'm constantly changing my setup. I'm constantly changing my microphones. I'm constantly changing what kit that I'm miking. I'm constantly changing the layout. I'm constantly changing the routing of what mic goes to what. I'm constantly changing whether I have 2 up and 1 down, or 1 up and 1 down, or 2 down and 1 up, or all those different things. So that's the reason that it looks like this, is because I'm constantly changing the layout, and it's color coded so that way I don't have to play Tetris in a guessing game every time I want to route something. Okay, so I know, a little bit of a side note there, but okay, here we go to the front. So you see here, I have a station here. This is part of station 1, or A. You can call it 1 or A. In addition to what controls just this one head, in addition to this head back here. So station 1 is meant more in that one back there for these, more of the bushes. But these are called umbagwe, these blue flowers. They're an African plant. They grow really well in hot temperatures. And since I'm in a valley in hot Southern California, I chose these bells of fire, they're called. These blue or orange flowers, which are like the yellow flowers in the back that are called bells of fire. I mean, yellow bells, but these are called bells of fire just because of their color. And these are also a desert plant. So the hotter it gets, they actually do better and better and better. So that's why I put these in from the get-go, because they actually grow wild and naturally around our community, just like on the sides of roads, and turn into giant full bushes with hardly any water. So that's why I got those. Got some irises. They just got done blooming, so they're a little bit closed up. But yeah. And then more crowns of thorns in the front. Then, let's see, what are these called again? Oh man, I know what these are called. Oh, dang, I can't remember. Um, yeah, but they're cool. They grow in these bushes with these kind of like white, delicate flowers. Then what I did is, these are gladiolas, and they grew so big. I mean, huge, with giant purple, beautiful flowers. But you can see, you know, I cut off the stems after they were done blooming. Then I have some impatiens. This is a iris variety called a Daring Do, and kind of a smaller iris, but a lot of my favorite flowers are actually bearded irises and iris varieties, just because of how delicate and cool the flowers look. And then you can see here, I've got, you know, more of the impatiens, and a couple different things going on in here. Then I've got more of the, and see now with this next station that went on, B. So this is station B, buddy. And now we've got the main side of the lawn going, in addition to the main part of all the lawn here, rather than the individual ones like I just showed that go to the plants directly. So we've got this patch of grass being covered, plus all of that being covered by this next B station. In addition, it gets some overspray into this middle, but this middle planter, it has to be hose watered a lot. And then, you know, obviously some white roses here, in addition to, I did put some gladiolas here in the middle of those too. Okay, last but not least, then we've got some, oh, I know the answer of these two. Dang. Not hydrangeas, but, God, this is terrible. I usually know my plants so well. Albuterol, man, I can't remember. Sorry, but a lot of you probably know what this is. It's a tropical plant, vine plant. And the yellow or white flowers all came out like gangbusters this year. So, you know, got that sprinkler going there. And covering some more gladiolas I put over here. Got some sprinklers going to the bushes over here as part of B. And then in addition to the sprinklers that are in here, well, you can't really see. You can see the spray from them going to that. Okay? So, sorry if that wasn't as involved, and kind of a quick overview of my sprinkler system. But I wanted to honor your request, and sorry I couldn't get to it sooner, but I wanted to, you know, at least honor your request and go through and just kind of show the setup that I have. In addition to, I do have to hose water quite a bit too, my friend. So, you know, I'll show you here. I don't know if I still have some in here, but like, I had to move plants in here. I have a bunch of hanging plants, and that's what was in my yard before, but these are polka dot impatiens, kind of like the ones that are in the front. And I had to bring them all inside so they didn't just cook in the heat and die. But what I do is I hang, like where those wind chimes are out there, those blue wind chimes. So I just hang plants all the way across, in addition to the strawberry. That's why this one strawberry is sitting on the table there, because it got burnt and it's in the sun the most on the left. So I took it down just to kind of save it. But that strawberry plant is 3 years old, if you can believe that, and never died through all the heat, through all the winter, through everything. And during the winter, guys, I do cover my plants. Like, I go out there with sheets, I go out there with towels, I go out there with anything I can do on freezing nights to cover my plants up. And I'll take a bed sheet and I'll spread the bed sheet across all that whole row right there and just drape it from that first rose bush right here all the way across and drape it on the end of the other rose bush. But those are the yellow bells that I was just talking about in the front that are related to the bells of fire. Very similar species. It's just that the bells of fire grow a little bit more like not trees, but like big shrubs, bushes. And so does this one. And because it's, in a pot, it's not going to grow as big. But that's what I meant by how they're related. So, yeah, my yard's kind of in a little disarray now. And even the spider plant was hanging, right above that fountain out there. But I had to take it down because it was just getting cooked. So, and then here's my Julius Bauer piano. And I got this piano for free. If you can believe that. So crazy. And there's my mom back in the day. She was a professional dancer at San Diego State. She was the head professor there for almost 40 years. So she worked in the PE and music and dance department. Well, first it was physical education when they first started it, like in the 70s. And then after that, then they went to combining it with music and dance as one major. But this piano was built in 1890. You can see the cast iron. It's a Julius Bauer. And yeah, it's not like it's in perfect shape. And the soundboard, has a little bit of cracking in it, but we've stopped that from happening even more. And, a $30,000 piano for free. I don't care what condition it is. So, and look at the quality of the wood. And they don't make them like this anymore at all because the woods are now illegal. You can't make pianos out of the same type of woods because of them being, endangered species. But look how they took this and they steam bent the frame of it, and just look at that beautiful finish and grain. And for being from 1890, I mean, this is just in phenomenal condition. So once he's like, the guy, basically the story is like he couldn't get rid of it and it was just taking up room. So what he wanted to do, well, here's some quick more stuff about my mom, and I don't know. But yeah, she's well known worldwide for all of her accolades and doing all the things she did with so many people. And Rob Mullins, the Rob Mullins Band, that's actually my uncle. My uncle is a professional jazz musician. And back in the 80s they did, and 90s, but early 90s, did a lot of projects together. And you can see another polka dot there, polka dot impatient in there. And then I'm going to quickly show you what I've got going on up here in the bedroom, because this will trip you out too. But I literally, this is how much I care for my plants and want to keep them alive, because, I mean, look how healthy these things are. When I got them, they did not look like this at all, fellas. And then, so I got these hydrangeas, and these hydrangeas, which is so cool, is that obviously these are completely at the end of flowering, but they still turn this color and they don't wilt and fall off. So yeah, they turn a little bit brown, they kind of lose their luster, but this is what the color of the flowers look like. And they start out like white, then turn pink and blue, and then even when they're at their end, oh, here's a good one, here's another one. So this is what they look like, and this one I just brought back to life and is just starting to bloom again. And then pink polka dot impatiens. And then this cool one that's got some daisies and I think that not lavender, but I don't know, different varieties. So that's what I did is I put them all in here so I could just, water them without having to worry about water leaking out and destroying some wood or baseboards or something like that. But yeah, so I just wanted to show quickly, like, hey Hunter, that's kind of my methodology for keeping my plants alive when it's 110 degrees. And currently, let's see, yeah, it's 100 degrees right now. And beyond being 100 degrees right now, at not even before it's noon right now. But yesterday we got up to 108 here. So yeah, I have to get out here and water the plants like 2 times a day just to keep them alive and kind of flourishing. But that's how much I care about them. That's how much I take care of them. That most people, you go through like 2 days of 110 degrees, you're going to come out to a completely dead backyard. It's happened to me before, and that's how I learned from my lessons. So, all right, guys. Yep. I said, unless this is going to turn out into a 40-minute video unless I pause a lot and that stuff, and look what happened. It turned into a 36-minute video. But like I said before, I wanted to honor your request, buddy, and I hope I did enough justice to kind of show you the system and how I go with it and what zone turns on what and how I can control it manually from the backside for the back or using the computer to be able to do it. But yeah, I just absolutely love my yard and love spending time back there when I'm not practicing, when I'm not teaching, when I'm not playing, when I'm not jamming out on Tuesday, Thursday nights, when I'm not getting gig offers, when I'm not doing that kind of stuff. Then this is kind of my second passion. So obviously drums takes up most all my time. But I come out here first thing in the morning, water everything, and then after I'm done with work for the day, I come back, walk these 2 pups, and then after walking those pups, and I can show you just some quick pics of some of the gigs I've done, and that was me when I got my degree and did a poster presentation at APA. But that's Russell. That's my mentor. Man, I love dearly. He's currently in Sioux City, Iowa. He was in Deep Purple for a bit. And for you youngsters who don't know who Deep Purple is, that's with Tommy Bolin. Tommy Bolin was a fantastic guitar player before he unfortunately died from some not so smart decisions. But he still goes back for the last 11 years, and he's the band leader for doing all of Tommy Bolin's festivals. So it's called the Bolin Fest, but it's back in Iowa. And so he just flew out today, and he's back there doing that gig. Here's some stuff I've done with Jay. So, I don't know. I'm not trying to show off or anything. I'm just saying, just showing some of the stuff that I've done with the drumming aspect and how that's my passion in addition to doing the gardening stuff. So, and then I've also, and I know this, maybe this is gloating a little bit, but I've had a lot of people call me a liar, saying that, you don't have any degrees, you're just talking out of your butt, man. You don't know what you're talking about. You're lying. You're a liar. You're a liar. Okay, well, I got that one for my graduate degree. Got a master's in school psych. And then I got this for my second major, my minor in addition to my major, I should say. And then I've got my bachelor's. And the coolest thing about this, I really don't care about the bachelor's. I mean, honestly, it's just jumping through hoops and getting through that. But look whose signature is on my diploma. Arnold Schwarzenegger. So I graduated maybe like a year or two before he stopped being governor. So I always laugh at that as like, my diploma is signed by Arnold Schwarzenegger. So that's kind of funny. Yeah, and sorry guys, I'm not gloat or anything like. I promise, I'm not trying to gloat or anything. I've just had people make comments to me in the past of like, yeah, I've heard you say that, but yeah, what I've really heard you doing is pretending that you're a professional or that you have a degree or that you're licensed or any of that, and I'm like, dude, I don't have to prove anything to you. I know who I am. I know what hoops I've jumped through. I know what I've accomplished. But for those that may be doubting, okay, is that enough proof for you? I don't know, man. I think it's funny. You can tell I really don't care. It's just that, well, okay, for all the naysayers, like how am I gonna show them unless I just give a quick cut of, okay, well, I have this one, I have this one, I have this one. I have the honors one, and I have a minor one, and all that kind of stuff. But to me, that doesn't care, or doesn't matter. To me, what I use them for is to help my disabled students within the music therapy context. So, and I just got my license by the State Board of California reinstated. I guess it was like a month ago now, 3 or 4 weeks ago. So I had to, do an interview to get it. What do you call it? Not relicensed, but like to get it active again. To get to for the next 5 years, because what they do is it's like every 5 years you have to kind of get it refurbished and get them to license you for the next 5 years, so that way you can work with kiddos, and because you can't work in the school district at all unless you especially within those services, unless you have that. So but what I've used it for is not so much school psych, but using that training and all of that stuff to help kids who are disabled, because I'm disabled. So I get it. I understand what it's like to be disabled and being frustrated and trying to accomplish through it and all of that. So my empathy and my heart goes out to those kids more than anyone. And so that's how I use it. It's not to be like, oh, I've got a degree and I'm going to make a bunch of money and I'm not, no. I settled for making way less money to do something that I felt was way more worthwhile and able to help way more kids, while passing on a useful skill, that brings them joy in their daily life rather than just something they can apply only in an academic, type of field. So, all right, guys. Well, have a great rest of your day and week. And love all ya, and hopefully this did you justice, buddy. Sorry it was kind of haphazard, and this does this, and here's how this works, and okay, done. But I'm a man of my word. I appreciate my subs, and you asked me very kindly if you do it, and I have no problem doing that, and hopefully you enjoy kind of checking out the system. So, all right, everyone. Love you. Have a great day. And happy drumming and happy irrigating. Okay, guys? Take care. See you on the next one.